Hello and welcome to Lock and Key, a magical girl mystery. This is a visual novel featuring retired magical girls, which sounded very interesting to me, and the shop page describes this as a romantic thriller. And today we're going to test out the demo, so let's see. In the beginning, there was only darkness. And from that darkness, two beings emerged, benevolence and malice. From them, our universe was born. And within that universe, one small planet was chosen as their eternal battleground. Neither being had a physical form, and so they could not battle directly. And so, a new species was born. This species would one day grow to include the proxy soldiers meant to fight their battle for them. Malice was the first to create such soldiers. It reached out to the cruel, to the greedy, to the uncaring. It offered them great power as reward for their service, but also bestowed a new form upon them. A twisted, monstrous form that reflected their true nature. These monsters, bound to one day succumb fully to their transformation and exist as no more than mindless beasts, came to be known by a single name: the Consumed. These Consumed lived normal lives by day, but embraced their cruelty by night. Their existence was kept a secret so as to better facilitate their activities without resistance. Benevolence saw these beasts and knew that there was only one way to combat them, not by driving humans into paranoia and violence, but by creating warriors of its own. It saw the compassion, the love, the desire to do good that existed within the hearts of young women. These qualities represented benevolence's ideals more strongly than any other humans. And so, they were chosen to be these champions of the light. Benevolence came to them without deceit. It told them the truth of the universe and told them of the dangers they would face by joining this battle. None were forced to take up arms. Only those prepared to brave the dangers of battle for the sake of their fellow human beings took up the sacred calling. These brave warriors were granted a new form of their own, but one that would not last. To make room for the next generation and to safeguard those whose powers might wane with age, their form and abilities would disappear upon reaching 30 years of age. But as long as they had that power within them, as long as they felt the desire to defend the world from evil, they would be known as magical girls. For millennia, magical girls have worked together to protect our world from the forces of malice. While the world at large may never know of them, these hidden warriors have saved countless lives. And for every war, it began with a single question. One that came first in a dream, then once again in the waking world. Do you want to protect this world? I do. It's not giving me much of a choice here, does it? Lock and Key, a magical girl mystery. Kind of an intense beginning there. And magical girls stop having their powers at 30. Interesting. Cohen. Huh? You done here? If I don't get my team on the scene soon, CPD is gonna have my ass. And dealing with them on a good day is already torture. I sigh and roll my eyes. The only thing worse than a case I can't crack is one where I have to deal with the cops. But I guess that's par for the course when you're looking for a serial killer. Locked room killer added to your data. What? I wish I could just tell them to piss off and let me focus, but a night in jail and a very worried wife were enough to keep me from trying that again. At least Nat is nice enough to let me check out the scene, but that doesn't make up for the dirty looks I get from everyone else here. Okay, so I think we're collecting data to kind of have... Is it like a glossary? I'm not sure, but let's continue on for now. I guess they're not a fan of some punk doing their job for them. Give me a few more minutes, I want to inspect the body again. Just hurry it up, and for fuck's sake, wear some gloves this time. Ew. Yeah. I can't explain to them why I need to touch things directly to use my powers on them. Oh, okay. That makes more sense. I was wondering, like, why are you touching a dead body without gloves, but... okay, sure. Or why every time I do, I can't help but think of how this all started. It was easier when I was a kid. Back then, all it took was a dropped pen to find a consumed slayer. Dealing with humans hurting other humans is much harder, not to mention more depressing. Can I have the room for a second? Are you seriously asking me to leave you alone in a crime scene? Seriously? Yes, seriously. Ned sighs and throws up her hands. She owes me, and she knows it. Fine, but if you breathe a word of this to anyone, the next crime scene is gonna be at your house. Natasha Rubinski added to your data. Okay. For all Ned's bluster, I'll take dealing with her over dealing with actual cops any day of the week. At least she can't get away with attacking me. Which is a lot more than I can say for Chicago's finest. Bunch of pricks. She walks out with a huff, leaving me to work. As soon as she's gone, I remove one of my gloves and close my eyes. My powers of clairvoyance only work on inanimate objects. I was 15 when I first learned that includes corpses. Not nice. Let me quickly have a look. Our data here. Oh, 4:30 p.m. crime scene, Sunday 10th March. Non-variables, same perp, multiple victims, no known method of entry, no physical evidence left by killer. Interesting, so it looks more like a detective game? Data? Ah, okay. We have the profiles. That's us, Sherry Cohen. Okay, let's go through these. Sherry Cohen, date of birth, is it July 1st, 1990? Hobby, collecting stuffed animals, favorite food, coffee cake. A former magical girl turned private eye, Sherry Cohen has served as the owner and sole employee of Cohen Investigations for the past 5 years. Sherry doesn't miss the magical girl life as much as her friends do. After they retired at the end of high school, she chose to focus on her education rather than attempting to recapture her former glory. I'd imagine being a magical girl doesn't pay the bills, so... Sherry graduated with a degree in psychology in 2012 and acquired her master's degree in 2014. When gay marriage was legalized in Illinois later that year, she married her high school sweetheart Keely Takada, with whom she'd been in a relationship for the last 8 years. Now a married woman, Sherry chose to forgo establishing her own practice in favor of becoming a private investigator. Why? Perhaps out of some sense of obligation to her past, or perhaps because it was a lot easier to launder money that way. Okay. Ability. Sherry's spirit reflection grants her limited clairvoyance when touching an inanimate object. By concentrating, she can track the object's movement, status, and other factors over a 48-hour period. The tracking details are most accurate within the first 24 hours. This is very complex. Weapon. The purification pistol is an accurate and extremely powerful weapon at mid to long range. Using liquid magic stored in the barrel, Sherry can fire energy bolts of various sizes to inflict major damage to a consumer's weak points. While already a powerful weapon, Sherry's own mastery of marksmanship makes it even deadlier. Okay. Natasha Rubinsky. Rubinsky is Sherry's... a forensic scientist specializing in on-site crime scene investigation. Natasha Nat Rubinsky is Sherry's longtime acquaintance and key source of information about police activity in the city. While the two are far from friends, Sherry's consistent ability to get results and Nat's authority to keep the cops away from her make for some very effective teamwork. Nat is aggressive, argumentative, caustic, and an overall pain in the ass, but at least she's got enough common sense to know what it takes to get results. Doesn't mean she's gonna be friendly about it, though. Okay, that's profiles, cases. Locked Room Killer. The Locked Room Killer, also known as the Phantom Slasher, is a serial killer that has been terrorizing Chicago for weeks. With the police uninterested in protecting the people, Nat reached out to Sherry after the third killing to ask for help. Each of the grisly murder scenes have three things in common: a battered body, a locked door, and a near total lack of evidence. How many more lives will they claim before Sherry can solve the case? Locations. The Cohen household. A small but cozy two-story home where Sherry and Keely have lived for the past 5 years. Thanks to Keely's very successful career, the two women were able to buy the home outright rather than rent. Sherry isn't much for furnishing, but Keely has taken to making sure the place really feels like theirs. Just don't ask her where she got the fancier decor. Okay, interesting. Okay, let's get on with the story. I'm just wondering now if I've ever seen a visual novel do this in such detail. It's fun. Okay. Let's do the other fun task of touching a corpse. At least it was a rarity back then, back when I was actually saving lives, helping people, as opposed to whatever I do now. With a sigh, I reach out and put my hand on the victim's body. Turn back the clock, bring the past to me so that I might see the truth. For the sake of the innocent. Reflection and process a few hours ago. Visions of the victim's last 24 hours fill my mind. I can't see the finer details the way I could when I was younger, but I'm still able to track his movements and activities throughout the time period. I call the power spirit reflection. Most of the time anyway. Some days I tend to call it shitty clairvoyance instead. It's not an inaccurate name. For starters, I can only see backwards, and even then it's not nearly as powerful as real clairvoyance would be. All I can do is track an object's movements and positions over the last 24 to 48 hours. If I had the murder weapon on hand, it'd be easy. I could find out where it came from and get a vague idea of who'd held it. But there's only so much I can tell from a corpse. I know this is his house and that he hadn't left home today. I can see him moving from room to room. Then I see him struggling. His movements grow erratic in the living room. He tries to fight back. But it's not enough. My eyes snap open as I yank my hand away, but the image doesn't leave my head. It'll probably be there for the rest of the day. I wipe off my hands and rub my temples, the same familiar questions filling my mind. What am I doing here? Why am I still getting myself involved in this shit? I've got a master's degree, for God's sake. I could be working at a hospital. Hell, I could have my own practice. I haven't been a magical girl for more than a decade, but I'm still getting myself wrapped up in mysteries. And what happens when I lose my powers next year? Am I just gonna screw around in crime scenes and make wild guesses? It's not like these are new thoughts, but they've gotten worse lately. Especially today. It's her day, after all. My enhanced self-doubt is cut short by Ned slamming the door open again, looking at me with annoyance. Time's up. They're sending me and my team in now. Fine by me. I'm done here. Already solved the case and saved the day, Sherlock? Oh, totally. I'll have Moriarty in handcuffs for you by tomorrow morning. She doesn't respond, just jerking her hand toward the door in the universal gesture for get the hell out. I stand up and step back as a usual band of masked forensic guys file into the room. Ned glares at me as I continue to look around, blatantly ignoring her demand that I leave them be. It's not like it's illegal for me to be here, but her team has complained enough about me interfering enough already. Sherry, I'm not gonna tell you again. Fine, I'm going. If the full forensic team is coming in, then the cops are sure to follow, and they'd be all too pleased to make me a scapegoat. I must have some nerve trying to actually solve the crime instead of finding some poor bastard to pin it on. Sure, they don't understand my methods, but I've still got a better track record than any of their esteemed detectives. Besides, I'm in no hurry to tell them that my method is being a former magical girl. They think I'm weird enough as is. Not like I care what they think, but still. I don't exactly miss fighting consumed, but sometimes I feel like I'd rather be risking my life fighting monsters than dealing with cops. At least then I was saving lives instead of just picking up the pieces. Yeah, it feels like I had more of a purpose, I guess. More hands-on. The wind whips against my face as I drive home, but I don't even feel it. I'm too preoccupied with thoughts of getting some rest when I get there. 15 minutes later, I barely make it to the couch before my aching muscles protest. Even through the sore back and knee pain, something about the case I just left doesn't sit well with me. But I can't figure out what it is. It's not like I haven't dealt with a murder before. Hell, I've even dealt with multiple murders before. Maybe it's the lack of evidence. Nothing from my powers and nothing from the surroundings. Entry point, murder weapon, any physical indication that someone else had entered the house. None of it. But that's not new either. There are plenty of cases where the cops ruined the scene before I had a chance to get there. My mind keeps turning, checking every possibility before discarding it. Logically, there's no real reason for me to feel so uneasy this time around, but I can't shake the feeling that something's off. Eventually, I shut my eyes with a resigned sigh. All I have are maybes, and I'm really sick of maybes. If I could just find one certainty. My train of thought grinds to a halt as I look toward the source of the sudden splashing sound. It isn't rain or anything like it, rather it's coming from right outside the door. Hello? I sit up to find a puddle of strange pinkish liquid seeping under the door. It glides across the floor without any trace left behind. If I didn't know any better, I'd be freaking out. Instead, I just sigh. The door was unlocked, you know. You could have just come in normally. A voice emanates from the puddle. A very cute voice. Yeah, but where's the fun in that? As I watch, the liquid comes together into one point and begins to solidify, rising into a pillar before taking the shape of a beautiful woman. Long black hair streams down the newly formed head as the remaining facial features take their place. Keely's eyes open and her mouth forms into a mischievous smile. There's no way I'm going to let my last year of shape-shifting pass me by without at least a few pranks. That one is a classic after all. If by classic you mean grossing me out for over a decade, then yes, it is certainly a classic. That's exactly what I mean. Keely Cohen added to your data. Profiles. There. Keely Cohen, born the same year. Her hobby is knitting and her favorite food, takoyaki. At first glance, you could be forgiven for thinking Keely Cohen, nee Takada, is a fairly typical housewife. That's entirely by design, of course. As one of the most successful cat burglars in Chicago, things are a lot easier for Keely if she looks utterly normal. It's certainly worked out well for her so far. Given her much greater attachment to their days as magical girls, Keely refused to abandon her abilities as she entered adulthood. It wasn't long after she graduated high school that she realized how suited her shape-shifting abilities were to thievery and didn't hesitate to take advantage of that fact. That's one way to make use of it. Making sure to steal only from the ultra-rich, Keely found herself with the oh-so-rare job that manages to be fun and pay well. She even gets to choose her own hours. And when she reaches 30, she'll be able to retire and spend the rest of her life in comfort with her beloved wife. But can she really let that life go so easily? Ability. Keely's mass manipulation allows her to stretch, alter, and otherwise manipulate her own physical form. This can be as major as flattening herself to slide under a door, or as subtle as altering her own fingerprints so as not to leave evidence at a crime scene. The ability's only major weakness is that it is incapable of any change that would affect her base mass/weight. Okay, so she cannot, be tiny or something. Weapon. The Lash of Judgment is a long, flexible yet extremely durable whip. While capable of enduring consumed at close range with its powerful slashes and surprising weight, its primary function is to capture and restrain consumed, so Keely's teammates can dish out heavier damage. As a support weapon, it is best suited to coordinated use. I sit up and make room for her on the couch, patting the cushion beside me. Welcome home, baby. I lean my head back as she bends down to kiss me, the warmth of her lips offering welcome comfort. I never really feel at home unless she's here with me. As soon as our lips part, she hops onto the couch to sit down next to me, resting her head against my shoulder and wrapping her arm around mine. We both let out a contented sigh in unison. This is the best part of the day. How was your day?
Not too eventful. My Mark was home, so I had to settle for just looking around the place. I think I'll go back for whatever's in the safe this weekend.
Wait, you don't know what he's got in there?
The guy's one of those rich executive types, so I'm sure it's something good. Besides, finding out is the fun part. It's not always about the money, you know.
That's why you're the best in the business, baby.
Aw, thank you, sweetie.
She gives me another kiss before snuggling closer to me. You'd never be able to tell by looking at her that she's one of the most notorious cat burglars in Chicago. Then again, that's part of why she gets away with it. Of course, being a shapeshifter doesn't hurt either.
You make any progress on the case today?
I sigh, wishing I could just forget today's visions. This job would be a lot easier if they didn't linger in my mind for so long. Nothing useful. Yet another locked room mystery, just like the others. Either the sky's really good, or I'm losing my touch faster than I thought.
Don't say that, sweetie. There's never been a case Sherlock Cohen can't solve, right?
I don't know. It's more than just being stumped. I just feel kind of burnt out, you know? Like I'm not sure if I even have the energy to see this case through, and putting up with the cops makes it even worse. Keely kisses my cheek. I can tell she's trying to hide the worry from her eyes for my sake, even though she knows she doesn't have to.
Maybe you could retire early, honey. I know you're sick of dealing with them, and I've napped more than enough to set us up with a comfortable nest egg.
I chuckle, running my fingers through her hair and kissing her forehead. And lose my chance to whine to you when I get home? Never. We both laugh at that one before settling into silence. I don't know how I would make it through the day if I couldn't look forward to cuddling at the end of it.
Maybe tomorrow you and I could go over the details of the case again. 2 heads are better than 1. And you know how good I am with murders.
Don't say it like that. You sound like a serial killer.
I do not. Besides, you know I'm more of a serial thriller.
That was awful. Like, really awful.
You're just jealous you didn't come up with it first.
You'd think that after 12 years her sense of humor would have improved. It hasn't. She's not wrong about being helpful, though. I might be good at putting together evidence in a pattern and drawing conclusions, but she's always been good at seeing the tiny details I might miss without her. I just always feel a bit guilty when I bring her in. She's got her own job, and making her do mine too feels unfair. But maybe that's just me being stubborn.
If you need me to break into the station and find out if they're keeping anything from you, I'm more than happy to. It's not like it'd be the first time.
That was nearly 10 years ago. With those inflated police budgets, security would be way tighter than it was before. Cameras, more guards, that sort of stuff. And you almost got caught last time, remember?
Are you saying that I've gotten worse?
No way. I'm just saying that they've gotten better. A lot better.
Hey, you never know until you try. I bet I could do it.
I give her a kiss on the cheek before shaking my head. What happened to the shy little high school girl that always looked before she leaped?
Oh, her? I hear she got a lot less shy when she married a real troublemaker.
A troublemaker, huh?
The worst kind.
I lift her head up and kiss her again, much deeper this time. One of my hands moves to her side, drifting up and down her abdomen. But before I can go any further, she pulls away with a frown.
We'll have to save this for later, honey. I need to get dinner started before Nina shows up.
All right, yeah, of course. Shit, I'd completely forgotten she was coming over. If I let that slip, she'll never let me hear the end of it, and on today of all days too. This case must be weighing on me even more than I thought. I've never forgotten about how important today is before now. It'll be good to have her here, though. Maybe it'll be the distraction I need. Even if it is interrupting another kind of distraction. In that case, I should probably go shower. I smell like a crime scene.
I like your crime scene smell.
And you think Nina would too?
I mean, yeah.
That's fair. What? I stand and stretch, letting out a long yawn. Hopefully, a little cold water to the face will keep me awake through dinner. I owe her that much. You gonna need any help with dinner?
I'll be okay. You can go ahead and clean yourself up.
As I head toward the stairs and start to climb up, Keely calls out to me.
Hey, sweetie.
Yeah, babe?
I'm really glad that shy little girl married that troublemaker.
You and me both, honey. You and me both.
Cute.
By the time I'm done showering, most of my stress has melted away. I can't fully get the image of the crime scene out of my head, but it only comes in flashes now. The house, the blood, the frantic movements of the victim. Using spirit reflection always leaves me with some kind of after-image, but at least that helps when it comes to studying details. I towel off and throw on a clean shirt before heading downstairs. As soon as I do, the smell of my wife's cooking banishes those last few lingering flashes. All I can think about now is how much I want to dig into some udon. It's incredible how delicious her cooking has gotten lately.
There you are. I was starting to worry that you'd fallen asleep in there.
No such luck. After the day I've had, I wouldn't mind a little shower power nap. She giggles and turns her head towards me, giving me one of those little smiles that still make my heart flutter before going back to her preparations. God, she's gorgeous.
Don't worry too much about being tired. Nina might as well be a natural shot of espresso.
Oh, is she already here?
Not just yet, but I'm sure she'll show up any second. You know how she likes to travel.
Well, hopefully she gives me enough time to do this. I move up behind her, wrapping my arms around her waist and brushing my lips against her neck. She rewards me with a small yelp of surprise before letting out another giggle.
Honey, I still have to finish this before she gets here.
She can wait. Kisses first.
Oh my god, sure. Can you stop being gay for like 2 seconds so Kiki can get some of that in a bowl? I'm starving.
We both whirl around in unison to come face to face with Nina. I sputter and let out a cough, a bit embarrassed about being caught in a moment of sappiness. As we face her, she breaks into a massive grin and lets out a squeal of delight. As always, her excitement is infectious enough to help me get over my initial embarrassment at being caught in the act. Nina Alencar, added to your data. Okay. Nina. Her hobby is racquetball and her favorite food, strawberry cheesecake. Oh, I could use some right now. I hope I'm pronouncing her last name right, I'm not sure, but yeah. Nina Alencar has always been a star. Sherry's childhood friend was dazzling crowds during talent shows as early as elementary school, and by the time she graduated high school, she was already being scouted by multiple talent agencies. Her debut album Rhinestone Reminiscence was released in 2010 and became an instant nationwide hit. Now in the process of preparing for her fourth album, Forever Young, Nina has spent the entirety of her 20s in the spotlight and loving it. Despite this, Nina's days as a magical girl are still fresh in her mind. The style of her original magical girl outfit and graceful movements stemming from years of combat both played a large role in her developing career. It remains to be seen how much those fundamental elements stay with her when she becomes the first of the group to lose her powers. Ability. One of the most powerful and versatile abilities around, Nina's recollection step allows her to teleport to any human being she's previously made physical contact with. While these days she mostly uses it to avoid the paparazzi, it also allows her to jump from teammate to teammate in battle in order to reach better angles of attack without putting herself at risk. With such an overwhelming tactical advantage, it's no wonder she ended up team leader. Oh, okay. Weapon. Despite its non-threatening appearance, the cutie slicer's wickedly sharp blade can cut through just about anything. As a result, Nina is the heaviest hitter in the group at close range. Its wide horizontal swipes take advantage of the consumed slow movement speed, letting her slice off limbs with ease. You do not want to be in the receiving end of this one. No, obviously not. Before we have a chance to speak, she bounds over to pull us into a gigantic hug.
I missed you both so much. Next time I go on tour, I'm taking you with me. No arguing.
Good to see you again, Nina. But maybe you could use the door next time?
No goddamn way. As long as I can teleport, I'm never touching a door in my life.
I pat her back and she squeezes us even tighter. She's got me grinning too now.
We missed you too. I can't believe how long it's been. 2 years, 73 days, 18 hours and 12 minutes. That's 2 years, 73 days, 18 hours and 10 minutes too long.
Did you seriously keep track of it down to the minute?
Oh no, I'm 100% fucking with you right.
I'm 100% fucking with you right now.
You really thought though.
She releases the hug, winking at me with another grin.
23 years and you're still falling for the obvious ones. Get it together, Cher.
So she keeps track of that one, huh? No wonder I fell for it.
No, Nina, play nice. Unless you don't want seconds of udon, that is.
Nina bats her eyelashes and gives Keely the most innocent face she can muster. It's pretty good.
I'll be good, Mom, I promise. I'm a year younger than you. Yeah, but you've got like big mom energy, you know? Is that a compliment? Duh. I know you two aren't exactly hip to modern lingo anymore, but that one's pretty obvious.
You say that like you're not 30. Nina huffs and gives me a goofy scowl while Keely goes back to finishing up dinner.
I'm 29, Cher. I've still got a month before I turn into an old lady, and I'm going to make the most of it. All three of us are.
I don't think I need to tell you that 30 is not being old. But with the magical girl power component thing, of course it has different meanings to them. So you're staying in Chicago all month then?
You better believe it. I'm off tour for the next 3 months. We are gonna tear this shit up.
I don't have the heart to tell her that Keely and I have long since passed the tearing shit up phase. But even if we can't keep up with Nina's speed, I'm sure we'll have plenty of fun. The way we used to, before.
Sweetie, could you grab a few bowls for us? Nobody's going to be tearing up anything on an empty stomach.
Nina bolts to her chair and sits down, vibrating with excitement. I swear she's about to start drooling. I oblige my wife, grabbing us bowls and giving her a quick kiss before sitting down.
Dinner is served.
Keely's cooking is as delicious as ever. Nina certainly seems to feel the same way, eating her way through 2 packed bowls before I'm even halfway through my first. In between mouthfuls, she tells us stories about life on tour, moving from place to place, dealing with crowds of fans, performing in front of hundreds of people. It makes our job seem easy by comparison. I'd probably crash and burn after a few months, but she's been going at it for nearly a decade now. And despite everything, she's still the same old Nina. The Nina I grew up with, still bursting with energy, still driven to stand out from the crowd, and still full of love for us. I've always admired that ambition of hers. Even though I was the only one who she'd known since we were kids, she was still the one who brought us together to form a team. Everyone else was ready to rally around the girl with a big dream and a bigger attitude. Hell, I'm not even sure if I would have been able to ask Keely out without Nina pushing me to go for it. No wonder she got scouted right out of high school. Being a star was her dream, and her dreams always came true. That and the fact that she's got one hell of a voice too. Although it would be nice if she didn't use it to yell so much when I'm sitting a few feet away from her. After we've all had our fill, I head into the kitchen and grab a bottle of whiskey and 3 glasses. Keely and I don't drink very often, but this is a cause for celebration, in one way at least.
OMG, you read my mind. Nothing like a little nightcap before I go.
You're lucky there are no laws against teleporting under the influence.
Oh please, you act like I'd actually listen to some square's rules. Hell, according to the rules, I was supposed to have dinner with some record label suit tonight.
You're not going to get in trouble for blowing them off on our account, are you?
Don't worry, it's not like it was anybody that mattered. Besides, being here tonight is way more important than spending a night pretending to care about branding.
Nina looks down at her glass, her expression suddenly darkening.
Especially tonight, you know?
I just nod and start pouring our drinks. We've been dancing around tonight's special occasion since Nina arrived, but I know that couldn't last forever. Keely looks down at the table, swirling her drink and letting out a wistful sigh.
How old would she be now? 27? Yeah, it's been 12 years now. Doesn't feel like it though.
It really doesn't. Sometimes it feels like it happened yesterday, other times it feels like a century ago. Death is strange like that. No matter how much I've seen, I know I'll never get used to it. I raise my glass, and they follow suit. Happy birthday, Elle.
Happy birthday, Elle.
We throw back our drinks, the warm burn of the alcohol a blessing after the chill that filled the room when we said her name. In the moment, it feels like she's here with us, that goofy little smile lighting up the room, like it always did. When Keely puts her glass down, I can see a few teardrops streaking her face. I squeeze her hand under the table, and she manages a small smile in response. Nina's stony face, meanwhile, betrays nothing. I silently pour us another round of drinks, muttering a snippet of the mourner's Kaddish. I'm not going to try to pronounce that. May he who creates peace in the celestial heights create peace for all of us.
Amen.
Elle Byrne added to your data. Can we I'll look at it later. After another moment of silence, Nina speaks up with her usual pep.
Okay then, I think it's time you told me about that juicy new case you mentioned. It sounded like pretty next level stuff.
I'm sure some people would consider her insensitive for jumping right into another topic like this, but Keely and I don't mind. It's better than spending the rest of the evening in mourning. Elle probably wouldn't have wanted that. Besides, it's not like I don't want her input. That's why I told her about it, right?
Looking to flex your detective muscles too, Nina? Hey, I'm an international woman of mystery.
I didn't realize catching serial killers was part of the pop star life.
Sounds like somebody isn't in the know then. Now show me those mad investigator skills.
I take another sip of my drink before giving her the gist of things. The lack of evidence left at the scene, how there's no trace to follow, no clear motives or connections between the victims, etc. She'll occasionally chime in with questions about crime scene details, still drawing from those magical girl instincts. Keely helps me fill in the gaps as well, leaving Nina scratching her head.
Damn, that's fucked up.
Yeah, no kidding.
Does anything in particular stick out to you, Nina? Well, nothing about the crimes themselves, but...
She stares at me, fire suddenly appearing in her eyes.
Something sticks out about how you're investigating them.
What's that?
The fact that you haven't put your wife's special talent to use.
Keely cocks her head to the side, confused. How would shapeshifting help her solve the case?
No, your other special talent.
Knitting? Oh my god. Nina flings out her arms, waving them up and down in an arc around her.
Aura reading, hello.
Oh! Keely's eyes widen as the significance of what Nina is saying hits us. Oh, of course!
Sure, have you even looked for magic at the scene? I mean, let's be real, no murderer can be that good. If they're so mysterious, why not see if they're consumed? Any magic left at the scenes would be too faint for either of us to pick up, but Kiki's always been the best of us when it comes to aura.
Of course, I've spent so many years going after humans that the thought of a consumed killer never even crossed my mind. How could I miss something that simple? I really am losing my touch.
Find the aura, find the killer. Easy peasy.
That's actually brilliant, Nina.
I told you that catching serial killers was part of being a pop star.
Maybe we should check that out tomorrow night, sweetie. Do you want to come with us, Nina? Nina laughs, taking one last swig of her drink.
No way. That sounds like a perfect date night activity. You two have fun with it. I've got nightlife to enjoy.
You can really go to clubs that easily. Aren't you worried about getting noticed?
Don't you worry about me, Cher. The paparazzi haven't figured out a way to get around teleportation. Not yet, at least.
Keely giggles at that one, and I can't help cracking a smile too.
Anyway, now that I've pretty much solved your case for you, I think it's about time I hit the road. My producer's gonna have a heart attack if I don't tell her where I am soon. Don't forget to cut me a check once you get paid for catching this dude, though. You don't want to stay for dessert? We have some cake in the fridge.
Nina smiles and shakes her head, standing up and stretching.
Save a piece for me, Kate. I'll come by for it when I can.
She pulls us both into one more tight hug, as warm as ever.
I love you two so much, and don't you forget it. I promise I'll come back real soon. You better. I didn't even have a chance to paint your nails. Soon, babe. Cross my heart.
Just make sure you let us know before you teleport in here. Married couples need their privacy, believe it or not. She steps away, adjusting her hair and giving us one last wink.
No promises.
And with that, she's gone as quickly as she arrived. Keely takes my hand and leans against me, looking at the spot where Nina was standing just a moment ago.
She seems like she's doing well. A lot better than she was last time.
Definitely. And you weren't kidding. She really is a shot of espresso.
So you're wide awake now?
I lean down and kiss her forehead, wrapping an arm around her. Very. Come on, let's go upstairs. I could stand to unwind a bit before bed. Keely raises her head to meet mine, kissing me gently.
You don't have to tell me twice.
It's not like we haven't done this before, but I can't quite shake the feeling that we're doing something wrong.
I'll have us inside in a jiff, just watch.
Keely's confidence brings a smile to my face, even as we're standing outside a crime scene in the early hours of the morning. Wait, did I? We wanted to look at Elle Byrne. Sherry, Keely, and Nina's former magical girl ally Always the baby of the group, she was the whole team's little sister and loved dearly by her 3 closest friends. She passed away in 2007, long before her time. Alburn was 15 years old when she died, and the shock of that death changed her 3 friends forever. But how did she die? What happened that fateful night? And why couldn't Sherry, Keely, and Nina stop it? We're going that route, huh? Hey, yeah, that's definitely. Okay, 11:30 p.m. crime scene, Sunday 10th March, cooperative benefits, fresh perspective, aura reading, morale boost. Okay, so it's not 11:30 p.m. if it's the early hours, but that's fine. I haven't seen an officer on watch, but there's no doubt that one is somewhere close by. Even though we're hidden, I'm still on edge.
Don't worry, we'll be in and out before you know it.
She squeezes my hand, interlacing her fingers with mine in a gesture that always brings me peace of mind. Whatever's got me so on edge tonight feels a bit further away. Once we're at the front door, Keely's form falls away, and she oozes beneath it. A moment later, the door clicks open, and there she is.
Told you I could get us in.
I never doubted you. She knows I never doubted her, of course. I haven't doubted her abilities for years now, but the smile on her face makes it clear that she appreciates the affirmation. And if she's happy, then so am I. But as soon as we take a few steps into the entranceway, the smile fades. Keely stops in her tracks and takes a deep breath. I don't like this. You feel something already? There were definitely signs of a struggle in here, but this isn't where he died.
It's faint, but this aura... something strange. Let's keep moving.
I nod, though I'm worried. Keely has such a talent for sensing aura, so it's no wonder that she sensed a dangerous vibe immediately. But even though my senses have always paled in comparison to hers, I should at least be able to sense something. Have my senses really degraded that much? I know I only have a year until they're gone for good, but even now I should still be able to pick up something if I focus on it completely. Is it because of whatever's strange about this aura? I shake my head, dismissing the conjecture. That's not what matters right now. Instead, I lead Keely to the living room and point out where the body was. It's long gone by now, and the police have cleaned up most of the bloodstains. Unfortunately, it still reeks of detergent. Still, Keely doesn't need to see another corpse. Just because I've gotten desensitized to them doesn't mean she has. She's always been the more empathetic one.
Is this the room?
This is the one. He was on the floor, near the ottoman. As far as I can tell, he was injured somewhere else and then pursued through the house until he succumbed to whatever was chasing him in here.
That's horrible. What a sad way to die.
Her foot taps against the floor, betraying an uncertainty I know all too well. It's a telltale sign that whatever she doesn't understand is making her nervous. I step forward and put a hand on her shoulder, hoping to calm her down the way I always do. I don't like being here in the middle of the night, nor do I like putting Keely in danger. But I couldn't say no to her about something this important. Hey, we don't have to stay if it's skeeving you out. We can leave. Keely shakes her head.
It's not that, it's... I don't think I felt energy quite like this before. It's new.
New? I mean, all consumed are different, but...
There's something really off about this one. It's not normal.
So there's no question about who did this then, or what. The serious tone in her voice worries me. We've dealt with particularly strong ones before.
Not like this. Even the powerful ones felt familiar. The consumed all have similar energy, just like magical girls. But this? It doesn't feel like a consumed. Not entirely, anyway.
I grasp her hand in mine, returning the squeeze from earlier. Even if I can't tell what she's sensing, I trust her every step of the way. Keely closes her eyes to think, and the air around her billows in soft, soothing waves. I don't know if it's a side effect of her powers or simply how I feel about her, but it's immensely calming to be next to her while she works. My shoulders sink, my muscles relax, and my head clears. It's magic of a different kind.
Whatever this thing is, it's long gone. That much I can say for sure.
Spirit reflection told me the same thing. It's been at least 24 hours, probably more. Keely looks at me, confused.
No, it hasn't. If that was the case, then the aura would be completely gone by now.
Then that must mean...
It came back.
I don't understand. A normal human might return to the scene of the crime, but the consumed are like animals. Why would one go back to the same house they'd already attacked? It doesn't make any sense. Could it have come before the attack too? Would it be intelligent enough to scout the place out first? No, that's ridiculous. I'm getting way too far ahead of myself here. Just gotta focus on the now.
I'm going to go check through the other rooms to see if there's anything else I can pick up. You gonna be okay down here?
I'll be okay, promise. I'll see if I can find anything I might have missed. Just let me know if you sense anything dangerous, okay, babe? Be safe.
Don't you worry about me. I still remember how to kick ass.
I know, baby. I know. She trots upstairs, leaving me alone. There's not many personal effects left in the room. Anything that looked to be even remotely useful has been confiscated by the cops. It doesn't leave me with much to work with, other than the furniture. It might not be much, but anything counts. Let's see. I press my hand to the end of the couch, trying to find something, anything of clarity. Reflection and progress yesterday. Visions of a restful morning, a day spent empty, and then a struggle. Something knocks the couch off kilter. I take a moment to rack my brain about what exactly that man was running away from. A shadow? A person? Nothing big enough to toss a couch around, but big enough to scare this guy senseless. It's no good. I just can't see it. No matter how hard I think, I can't seem to gain any further clarity with reflection. Yet another sign that Sherlock Cohen's detective powers are on their last legs. It's frustrating in the moment, but that thought leaves a part of me feeling relieved. Another sign that it's time to move on from this job, to move on from picking up the pieces, to move on from the obligation this power brings. That doesn't sound bad at all. It'd certainly mean getting a little more sleep at least.
Sure.
Keely calls me from upstairs, still doing her best to keep her voice hushed in case the patrolling cop decides to make their way back here. Yeah, what's up?
If you're not busy, would you mind taking a look at this?
I heave a sigh, giving up on searching for clues on my own. Here's hoping Keely's search has gone better than mine. I head up the stairs, peering through the different rooms of the house until I find her in what looks like a study. Keely stands in front of a row of shelves, looking at something on the top. Hey babe, what's up?
This here.
Keely points to a framed photo. Within it are a man and a woman looking happy together. Judging by the hair, the man must be the victim. He looks so different in life. Do you think the girl is suspicious or something?
I wouldn't know, but don't you think she looks familiar? I swear I've seen her before.
Like on the street? This isn't too far from home. Maybe you've crossed paths.
No, it's not that. Maybe we met them at a party or something? The man in the picture too. He seems kind of familiar. You don't recognize them at all?
Not off the top of my head, no. But now that she mentions it, something about the two people in the photo does seem vaguely familiar. Maybe I solved a case for them or had one of them as a peer reviewer in grad school. No, that's not it. God, this is really bugging me.
Me too. I'll at least take a picture of it so we can look it over at home.
I haven't found anything else up here, and there's no point in standing around in the crime scene trying to figure out if we maybe had brunch with somebody. Just make sure you don't get your phone confiscated outside. Pictures of stuff in here could potentially be incriminating. Keely chuckles and gives me another confident grin.
Sure, Bear, there's more than enough incriminating evidence on this phone as it is. I'm not too worried about it.
Now I'm really wondering how her powers work. Like, she can change like her own body structure basically. That makes some kind of sense. But also her clothes and her phone then? Huh. Oh god, don't tell me you've been taking pics of empty safes again.
You can't prove anything.
And you say I'm the trouble. Keely raises her hand to stop me, eyes suddenly going wide.
Sweetie, can you feel that?
It only takes a moment for me to register the sensation. This time, there's no doubt about where this particular aura is coming from. It's consumed through and through. Where? Keely closes her eyes and sniffs slightly, as if she was tracking it by scent.
A couple houses away. It doesn't seem particularly strong, but...
Sounds like a job for the current crop of magical girls then. We should probably head out.
I guess so.
Keely sighs and looks down at her feet. I know she's still got that warrior instinct, but that isn't what we came here for. Not like it used to be.
Sherry, I know that at our age we're supposed to let them take care of it, but maybe we should drop by just to...
Suddenly, I hear a sharp, piercing scream. It sounds young, too young for us to ignore. Before I can even utter a word, Keely's opening a window and jumping outside. I follow suit, dropping to the street and running after her. I guess she's not the only one who held onto those old instincts after all. Keely leads the charge as we rush toward the spike of magical energy, spurred on by another monstrous roar. All I can do is offer a silent prayer that we'll make it in time.
You won't get away with this, fiend. There, down that alley.
She skids right, and I follow. We don't have to travel far before we see it. A grotesque mass of tentacles and eyes the entire width of the alley, bursting forth from a human torso, two of its appendages in the process of wrapping around its would-be prey. Lovely. But consumed.
Get out of here! It's not safe for you!
Despite the creature gaining the upper hand, the girl calls out to us in the familiar protective tone of one of the city's guardians. While it's a bit disconcerting to recognize that the girl is barely a teenager, Keely and I know better than anyone that magical girls can start young. It's not just the outfit that gives her nature as a magical girl away, it's the fact that nobody else would be able to prioritize the safety of bystanders while they were in that position. But we are no ordinary bystanders. I glance over at my wife, who looks back at me with a determined smile.
Use it or lose it, right?
I nod and give her a thumbs up in return. I guess it's time to shake the rust off.
Ready when you are.
I close my eyes, readying myself for the transformation. Here's hoping I can still remember the words. Keely's hand finds mine, and we begin. For the sake of the world, we will be its guardians. Let our spirits shine through.
Don't tell me...
Fun. The familiar glow passes through my body as I'm lifted off the ground, light bursting from within me and spreading outward. Our clothes disappear, swiftly replaced by our old uniforms in a cascade of ribbons and magic. I'm surprised it still fits. My revolver appears in my hand as I drop to the ground, my body brimming with power. Prepare to face justice. Keely drops down next to me, her whip snaking out from my hand as she opens her eyes.
You will not escape our judgment. We are magical girls.
The girl's screams go quiet as she stares at us in disbelief. The consumed, too, has frozen as it looks toward us with surprise. It definitely wasn't expecting two full-grown women to be ready to fight back. Keely charges down the middle, trusting me to follow her strategy. We don't need words to work together. Our minds can align perfectly at a moment's notice. Yet another perk of working with my wife. I dodge to the right towards the wall, jumping effortlessly up to the third floor of the building and landing on the fire escape. The consumed doesn't notice my maneuver, its animalistic mind still focused on Keely as she swings her whip in front of it. I can't see her face, but I know she's smiling.
Judgment Cage, entwine him.
She swings her whip straight down the middle, thorns ready to slash the monster's hide, but it doesn't move away. Instead, a sickening laugh erupts as Keely launches her whip forward. It slaps the whip away with one tentacle and shoots another toward Keely with frightening speed, its tip sharp enough to pierce straight through her.
Bad move, monster. Very bad move.
Keely shifts in an instant, making a hole in her abdomen that the tentacle passes through without so much as grazing her. Wow.
Get ready to fire.
The reduced mass of her torso walks up toward her arm, extending it forward and flashing the whip past the consumed's grasp, right where we want him. When I pull the hammer back, the chamber of the gun fills with brilliant light. 6 shots are more than enough. Keely's whip encircles the monstrous mass. It moves with a mind of its own, binding its tentacles to its chest and tying its legs together. Judgment Cage never fails. Now it's my turn. I fan the hammer as I fire 5 more times, rapidly releasing an arc of holy spheres towards the target. The shots sink into its flesh, filling it with light from the inside out. It manages to let out one more pitiful scream before exploding into brilliantly shining dust. Elimination complete. Eliminated enemy. Added to your data. Let me have a look. Okay, 10:50 PM. Back alley strategy. Restrict its movement, attack from range, protect potential victims. Stock. A recently corrupted consumed stock was once a powerful hedge fund manager operating out of the financial district. A deal with Malice seemed like the best way to guarantee monetary success, but like so many other consumed, his greed blinded him to the dangers of making such a deal. A consumed being inexperienced doesn't stop it from being deadly. If Sherry and Keely hadn't stopped it, Stock would no doubt have gone on to claim several more victims. Such is the nature of those who give in to their insatiable hunger. So don't be greedy. With its mission accomplished, the gun fades away. It always comes when I need it, but there are times when holding on to it would only make things worse. The last thing this kid needs is for someone to point a gun at her. I hop back down to the alley, landing without a sound.
You...
The girl is sitting with her back against the wall, eyes wide as she stares at us in shock.
It's okay, honey. You're safe now. You're all right. Who are you?
I kneel down to her level, offering her a reassuring smile. I don't want to baby the kid, but I know Keely and I both want to help her out. We do what we can. We're magical girls, same as you.
We just happen to have a little more experience.
I stand, offering a hand down to help her up. After a moment, she takes it and slowly stands up on shaky legs. I'm Sherry. This is my wife, Keely. We used to patrol around Navy Pier back in the day.
Would you mind telling us your name?
The girl opens and shuts her mouth a few times before finally managing to speak, her voice barely above a whisper as she stares at the ground.
Ruby. My name's Ruby. It's very nice to meet you, Ruby.
Do you want us to help you find somewhere to sit down and rest for a minute, or call you a ride home? She nods, leaning against the wall to steady herself.
I'd like to sit down. There's a coffee shop around the corner that should still be open. Would you be comfortable going there with us?
We'll understand if you're not. I know we're strangers and all. Ruby finally looks up at us with wide eyes, clearly still in shock. But through that expression, I can still see a muted fire in her eyes. She'll be okay.
Even if you're strangers, I know you're not bad people. Bad people don't get to be magical girls.
The conviction in her voice makes me grin. Rookie or not, this kid's heart is in the right place. A few minutes later, we're back in our civilian clothes and relaxing with our drinks. Coffees for me and the wife, and a hot chocolate for Ruby. I actually didn't expect us to get to see a whole fight in this already. Fun.
Keely.
Sorry.
Do you feel any better, honey?
Ruby takes a long swig of hot chocolate and lets out a shaky breath, leaning back in her chair.
I am no worse for wear. Thank you for your kind assistance.
Her voice seems to have taken on a deeper cadence without warning. I exchange a wordless look with Keely, who gives me the slightest of shrugs. No problem, Ruby. You just take a couple more minutes to relax, and then we'll call you a ride home.
You need not refer to me as Ruby, ma'am. I have another moniker I use when speaking with a fellow sister of justice.
Do you know?
Indeed. Now that we've become more acquainted, you can call me...
She moves her arms in a confusing flourish.
Nightshade.
Keely and I share an awkward look, trying to think of an acceptable response. This is definitely not what I was expecting. Nightshade? To your data. That's a cool nickname. Wait, I'm confused. Coffee orders listed here. Black coffee, 2 creams, 1 sugar, hot chocolate, 1 Oh, she's not here yet. Okay, that's fine. And that's a cool nickname.
Alias, sweetie, it's an alias. How better to strike fear into the heart of our enemies than a name that resonates with the powerful energy of the night?
Right, yeah, of course, powerful energy and all.
I think it's a great name, honey. You do?
Her voice returns to the high pitch we heard during our battle. She really is just committing to a bit. That's, respectable.
'Cause like, I spent a lot of time thinking of it and stuff, and I had a bunch of other names I was gonna use, like the Dark Moon or like the Nightbringer and stuff like that, but I thought this one was the best, so I...
Her eyes go wide again and she clamps her mouth shut, suddenly aware of what she's doing. When she speaks again, her voice is back to her nightshade tone. Anyway, I believe that nightshade suits me best, and soon all the consumed in Chicago will learn to fear that name.
That's very nice, honey.
Totally. You got this.
Just make sure you're realistic about what you're ready to take on, okay? If we hadn't shown up, that consumed could have seriously hurt you, or worse. Oh, it was no trouble. I'm certain I could have gotten the upper hand sooner or later. However, having help from some veteran warriors did make things much easier.
I tried to keep my temper even, remembering how much of a hothead I was at her age. Everyone made it feel easy, like I could take on the world, until I couldn't. And I don't want that for her, or anyone else. Ruby, we're serious. That consumed was way too strong for you to be taking on alone. How long have you been a magical girl? Ruby mumbles her answer, barely audible over the coffee shop ambience.
It's been, 2 weeks, or 1.5.
Oh boy, that won't do at all. And have you had any prior training? Spent any time with more experienced magical girls? She rolls her eyes, no doubt tired of lectures from adults. I get it, but this is a lot more important than a talk about curfews or whatever it is kids get talks about these days.
Well, benevolence taught me how to fight and use my powers. It didn't take long for me to establish myself as a hunter of the night. That's more than enough to slay the consumed, yes? Smaller ones, yes, but you weren't dealing with a smaller one, honey. Something like that needs teamwork to take down.
Ruby pouts, looking frustrated. Her nightshade persona slips again.
Then how did you learn? You fought them when you were still young, right? When we were still young? I'm only 28.
Looks like I'm not the only one trying to keep my temper in check. Keely can get a bit insecure when she's stressed out. I'm sure Ruby didn't mean anything by it, but I'd better mediate things just in case. She just means when you were a teenager, baby. Of course you're still young.
Thank you.
Keely huffs and takes a long sip of her coffee as I turn back to Ruby. And to answer your question, Ruby, we learned by training. First by honing the skills benevolence taught us, but eventually we learned new techniques from other magical girls as well.
Knowledge is passed down from generation to generation and then honed with teamwork. That's why magical girls are drawn to other magical girls.
The two of us and our friends work together to develop efficient combat tactics like proper positioning, the right balance between offense and defense, and what parts of consumed tend to be weak points.
It's all about teamwork. Being a magical girl is a group effort. Surely a team isn't absolutely necessary. Nightshade moves in the shadows and strikes unseen. The team would announce their presence. Plus, I'm not, super great with people, sometimes.
So that's what's going on. I'm sure Keely already noticed as much. She's practically psychic when it comes to figuring out what's really going on with people. Me? I'm a lot slower as a judge of character.
That's nothing to be ashamed of, honey. Believe it or not, I was the same way.
Really?
Really. I didn't have any friends before I became a magical girl. Just sat in the back of the class in an oversized hoodie and tried not to draw attention to myself. Then benevolence came to me, just like it came to you, and offered me a chance to do something more with my life. I was nervous about teaming up too, but once I met Sherry and our 2 other teammates, we fell into a rhythm right away. I promise it's not as hard as it sounds. You made the choice to become a hero, so you're already plenty brave.
And there she goes again. Her pep talks are as legendary as ever. Ruby takes a long sip of her hot chocolate and lets out a deep breath.
Would you be willing to, help me, maybe?
Help you find a team? I mean, we're a little out of the loop when it comes to stuff like that, so...
No, I mean, help me be a magical girl?
Oy vey. I was afraid you might say that. I get why she'd ask, but... I look over at Keely, hand to her chin as she thinks over Ruby's request. Surely she must have expected the same thing, but she seems more intrigued by the idea than I am. I guess I shouldn't be surprised. It's in her nature to take care of things after all.
You want us to train you? You don't have to, give me lessons or anything, but maybe if I were able to watch you do hunt or something, would that be okay?
Oh, well, about that, we're actually retired. We haven't fought or consumed for years. Sorry, but we're not the hunting type.
What do you mean? We just fought one.
That was an exception. If we hadn't hurt you two nearby, we wouldn't have sought it out.
Oh.
Ruby looks down, defeated. I can't help feeling like a jerk for shooting her down like that, even if I was just telling the truth.
Maybe you could at least give me a bit of advice. I'm a fast learner, honest. That way I can catch up to everyone else.
Her voice is quieter than before, still doing her best to show conviction, but struggling to assert herself. Now I feel even more guilty. This is the kind of thing I'd be happy to do when I was her age, but I doubt I could even offer much help now anyway. I look over at Keely to see that she looks even more guilty than I do. When she looks back at me, her eyes are wide and practically pleading. It's like she's asking if we can adopt a cat. I sigh, looking down and then back at the kid. Well, I guess giving you a few pointers wouldn't hurt. Ruby instantly perks up, so does Keely.
You mean it?
Yeah, I think we can do that. I don't remember too much of what we really set in stone back then, but we can tell you about some tactical considerations and weaknesses you can exploit, that sort of stuff.
And it would be a good chance to try out that magical girl-themed workout regimen I was telling you about.
She plays it off as a joke, but a look at Keely's grin tells me how excited the idea makes her. No way does she want to stop at tidbits of advice. She really wants to train her. Training a rookie magical girl. Honestly, that might be just the thing she needs to help her feel better about her time as magical girls running out. I hate to admit it, but a part of me can see the appeal as well. Passing on our knowledge to another generation does sound like something close to closure. Or at least a bit closer to. No sense thinking about that right now. Just need to focus on what's in front of me.
I mean, if it wouldn't be any trouble, then if that's okay,
I guess lessons might be okay. We could try it at least. Nothing major though, okay?
It'll be our very own after-school program. How fun!
Ruby makes another strange gesture, no doubt reaffirming her nightshade persona.
Indeed. With the wise teachings of my elders, I will gain the strength I need to be a true warrior of the night, a guardian of our fair city. I am officially making our first training rule that you can't call us your elders.
Yeah.
My mentors?
I think that works. Keely nods and takes one last sip of her coffee, finishing it off with a satisfied
So, shall we make contact using the existing group chat, or will we be working independently?
What? The what now?
Ah, I see.
Ruby pulls out her phone and opens up some messaging app I've never seen before. I lost interest in things like that when AIM shut down, so I'm sure there are plenty of apps like that.
My fellow warriors of the night have a GC we use to coordinate our attacks on the enemy. I observe rather than participate, but it's quite helpful when it comes to logistics. Or at the very least to ensure none of them interfere with my mission of darkness.
Mission of darkness. How edgy do you want to sound? Yes. So you do know other magical girls?
Well, I met one who sent me a link to the chat, but only once. She was nice and all, but she didn't understand my nature. As Nightshade, I mean. Well, isn't that interesting? It would have been very helpful to have something like that when we were more active. Wouldn't you agree, dear?
I shrug, finishing off my coffee as well. It seems like it would make more sense to just talk on the phone, but what do I know? Hey, if it works, then it works. Probably something we'd need a bit to learn, though. Now that's what makes you sound older than you are, I think. Oh boy.
Perhaps it would be better to simply communicate via text message then.
She puts her phone away, no doubt surprised by our ignorance of whatever app that is.
You know how to text, right?
Yes, I know how to text. Keely leans over to whisper to Ruby, but she's still loud enough for me to hear.
She didn't know until a few years ago. You're kidding.
Look, technology isn't my thing, alright? I'm fine with what we had back when we were kids.
We had text messages, sweetie.
Ruby laughs at that one, the shaky uncertainness gone from her voice. Looks like our job is done.
Let me give you my number. We can figure out the training schedule soon, okay? Okay. I mean, very well. I look forward to mastering the ways of the night with your assistance.
Good to hear it. She's quite the interesting girl, no doubt about it. Odd for sure, but every magical girl is odd at that age. That age, we certainly were. Every teenager is odd at that age. Do you need us to call you a ride?
I will be fine, ma'am. My home isn't far from here. Just make sure you're careful on the way home. No more fights, okay? Very well. Even the most tireless of night warriors must rest from time to time.
Yeah, exactly. I get up and pay for the three of us, tossing the few bucks I have left into the tip jar. Behind me, Keely and Ruby swap numbers and say their goodbyes. She's always been good with kids. Mom energy, I think Nina called it. And who knows, maybe it'll help her figure out how she feels about having kids of her own someday. It's not like we haven't talked about it before, but never mind, now isn't the time. Take care, Ruby. We'll see you soon. Keely nudges me and mouths, Nightshade. Nightshade. Take care of yourself.
And you as well, my mentors. I look forward to beginning our training post-haste.
With a final wave, Ruby leaves the coffee shop and disappears into the night. Well, that wasn't how I was expecting tonight to go.
Is that a bad thing?
I guess it could have been worse, but I do think I'm done with surprises for the time being.
You and me both. I'm gonna be out like a light as soon as we get home.
Keely chuckles and kisses my cheek, taking my hand in hers. We chuckle in unison as we step through the doors and start our journey home. Definitely time to be done with surprises for now. Still, for a night when we'd planned to solve a mystery, I feel like we've been left with significantly more questions than answers, and not just about Ruby. That consumed was dangerous, but there's no way it was the locked room killer. Something that far gone couldn't even open a door normally, let alone sneak through a locked one. So why did it just happen to show up while we were investigating? Was it drawn to the energy Keely felt? Or could it have been some kind of lure, a distraction meant to pull us away from the crime scene? It's a possibility I don't want to consider, not just because it's needlessly paranoid and yet another sign that this case is messing with my head, but because it would mean that there's something larger at play here. Hey, babe? That aura you felt at the house, that wasn't from the consumed we just took out, was it?
No, it wasn't even close. In fact, it wasn't close to the aura of any consumed I've seen before.
So, what do you think it was?
Something new, and probably something dangerous.
I nod, feeling that paranoia spreading through more of my mind. I'm already way too old to be handling cases with magic involved. But something tells me that this time I don't have a choice. You've reached the end of the demo. We look forward to the full release, as do I. Lock and Key, a Magical Girl mystery. Yes. Okay. There we go. Okay. Yeah, so that was the demo. That actually introduced a lot more than I would have expected, like all the main characters, obviously, the whole situation, we even got a fight, and that whole mystery to unravel. I'm very intrigued. So yeah, the Kickstarter for this was successfully funded as far as I've seen. I'm not sure if there's already a planned date when the full game will be out, but you can already wishlist it on Steam, and you can also play the demo yourself on Steam and itch. I'll leave the links in the description down below. The full game is supposed to have several endings depending on, I quote, shaped by players' beliefs and choices. So there will be choices in the full game, there were none here, but it was all very introductory, so that makes sense, that's totally fair. Do we have anything else in the data? I don't think so. No, that's fine. Also shows here 100% completion for the demo only, of course. But yeah, okay. Very nice so far. Yeah, I like it. I like it. I definitely want to try the whole game when it comes out. Yeah, I was wondering how they would handle it, this whole, okay, retired magical girl, how different it would have a look out on that, but it's taken, I think, with a good mix of being serious while also being self-aware, so to say. Like, I wasn't sure initially how it would go about it, if it would be more of a, what's the word? If it would be more comedic, basically. But no, I like this. I like this, like the whole mystery aspect and a bit of more darkness in there. I know I like a bit of a darker story as well. So yeah, there seems to be a good balance of thing that, again, it's called a romantic thriller, and yeah, I think they achieved that so far. So yeah, that's it for the demo. As always, I'd appreciate if you'd let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, bye bye!